Imagine you are in a crowded room, surrounded by noise, opinions, and endless chatter. Everyone around you is speaking fast, trying to be heard, trying to prove something. But you? You say little. Why? Have you ever wondered what power lies in speaking less? What strength comes from holding your tongue when the world demands you to shout? Have you noticed how some people seem calm, unshaken, almost like they carry an invisible shield? They don't need to raise their voice or flood the space with words. Instead, they listen, watch, and speak only when necessary. What is their secret? Why do they choose silence over noise? In your daily life, how often do you rush to respond without thinking? How often does your anger or frustration push you to speak before you truly understand the moment? What if you could change that? What if silence was your greatest weapon, your strongest ally against chaos and confusion? One simple example: a master craftsman works quietly, focusing deeply on his work. He doesn't boast or brag. He lets the work speak for itself. His silence shows confidence, control, and inner strength. Isn't that the kind of power we all want? Welcome to Book Boost. Here, we dive into ancient wisdom that can transform how you live, think, and act. If you want to grow stronger inside, if you want to master your emotions and find peace in the noise of life, you're in the right place. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel for more powerful insights. Please drop down your one thought on believe in yourself in the comments below. We want to hear from you. True strength is not in how loudly you speak, but in how deeply you control your mind and your emotions. The quiet ones have learned this lesson well. They do not react to every situation. They master themselves first. They do not waste energy on useless words or pointless arguments. This power to speak less is not about fear or weakness. It is about courage, the courage to overcome destructive emotions like anger, jealousy, and impatience. The courage to stand firm inside, no matter the storm outside. The great philosophers of old have shown us this path. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca all taught that true freedom lies in controlling our reactions, not controlling the world. In the coming parts, we will explore the traits that define those who speak less, but live with greater power. We will uncover how self-control, observation, resilience, and deep focus build an unbreakable spirit. This journey will awaken a hunger inside you, a hunger for calm, clarity, and strength that can never be taken away. Stay with us. The silence you seek today may become the voice of your greatest power tomorrow. There is a power greater than the sharpest sword or the loudest voice. That power is mastery over one's own emotions. Those who speak less often have learned this truth deeply. They do not let their feelings control them. Instead, they control their feelings. Imagine the mind as a calm lake. When the wind blows, the surface may ripple, but the depths remain still. So it is with those who speak little. Their minds are not tossed by every passing thought or anger. They have trained themselves to be calm inside, no matter what happens outside. Why do most people lose control? It is because they mistake emotions for commands. When anger rises, they shout. When fear grips, they freeze or flee. When frustration burns, they lash out. But those who speak less understand that emotions are like waves, they come and go, but they do not have to dictate the course of the ship. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest teachers of this way, said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This means the world will throw many things at us: pain, insult, disappointment, but these things cannot harm us unless we let them. The quiet person knows this well. They see their anger, but do not act on it immediately. They feel sadness, but do not drown in it. They experience frustration, but they do not give it the throne of their soul. They understand that emotions are visitors, not masters. To master emotion is not to deny feeling. It is not to become cold or uncaring. It is to accept feelings, to notice them clearly, and then to choose how to respond. This is the foundation of true self-control. It is the difference between reacting blindly and acting wisely. Seneca taught that no man is free who is not master of himself. Freedom comes from within. When you control your emotions, no outside force can enslave you. You become your own ruler, your own guardian. We often see people caught in endless drama, heated arguments, bitter grudges, constant anxiety. They speak loudly, but their words come from a place of turmoil. Their voices are not powerful, they are desperate. The one who speaks less, however, has quiet strength because their mind is clear and steady. This mastery grows from practice. It is like training a muscle. The more you pause before you speak, the stronger your control becomes. The more you breathe through moments of anger, the less you are ruled by them. The more you observe your feelings without judgment, the more you break their power over you. There is a story about Epictetus, a great Stoic teacher, who was once asked, "How can I become free from anger?" He answered simply, "Remember, it is not what happens to you, but how you think about it." This is the secret. Our thoughts shape our feelings, and our feelings shape our actions. Those who speak less know that words spoken in anger often cause regret. They have learned to sit with discomfort, to let emotions settle like dust before they respond. Their silence is not weakness, it is wisdom. Sometimes, we feel the urge to say something to defend ourselves or prove a point. But what if we chose silence instead? What if we understood that not every battle is ours to fight? What if we let some words pass, untouched, like leaves on a stream? In controlling our emotions, we find peace. This peace is not the absence of challenge, but the presence of calm inside challenge. It is the ability to face difficulty without losing ourselves. This power of self-mastery creates a strong foundation for all other virtues. Without it, courage can become rashness, patience can become weakness, and wisdom can be drowned in noise. Look around you. The loudest voices are often the most troubled. The quiet ones carry a calmness that attracts respect and trust. People listen to them, not because they shout, but because their presence speaks of control and strength. To live this way, begin by watching yourself closely. Notice when your emotions rise. Don't run from them, but don't rush to act either. Let them pass through you like a storm passing over a mountain. The mountain remains unchanged and firm. Over time, this will change how you see the world. You will find less need to explain or defend. You will understand that your true value does not depend on others' opinions or your own immediate feelings. You will begin to speak less not because you have nothing to say, but because your words will matter more. They will be chosen with care, spoken from a place of peace, and carry the weight of someone who has mastered themselves. This is the first step on the path to true freedom. Mastery over emotion frees the mind from chaos and prepares it for greater things. It is the mark of the quiet warrior, the one who conquers not others, but themselves. Let us walk this path together. Let us seek the calm within, the silence that holds power, and the strength born from self-control. This is the legacy of those who speak less and live more. There is a power that many ignore, a quiet, hidden power that doesn't come from loud words or fast movements. It comes from stillness, from silence, from observation. People who speak less often see more. They do not rush to be the first to talk. Instead, they choose to be the first to see beyond the surface, to see what others miss. That is their gift. And that gift grows stronger every day they choose silence over noise. When you observe more and speak less, your eyes open to things that others walk past blindly. You begin to notice the small shifts in a person's face when they lie. You sense the tension in a room without needing anyone to say a word. You understand what is really being said, not by the words, but by the silence between them. This is not magic. It is not luck. It is a skill. And like all skills, it comes from practice. The Stoics believed in sharpening the mind by holding it still, like a blade held firm in fire. The more you observe without rushing to speak, the stronger that mind becomes. Most people fear silence. They think if they don't speak, they will not be seen or heard. But the truth is the opposite. When you speak less, people begin to lean in. They begin to wonder what you know that they don't. Your silence becomes power. Your presence becomes heavier, even if your voice is soft. Think of a tree standing still in the wind. It doesn't chase the breeze. It doesn't bend to every passing storm. It observes. It stands tall, deep-rooted. That is how the silent observer moves through life, still, calm, aware, unshaken. In a world that is always in a rush, silence becomes rebellion. Observation becomes strength. While others are chasing attention, the quiet person is gathering truth. They are learning who is real, who is false, what matters, and what doesn't. And they never waste energy where it's not needed. They don't speak to prove their worth. They don't argue to feel important. They don't react just to make noise. They choose when to speak, and when they do, their words cut deep, like a blade that has been sharpened in silence. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." This is not just a lesson in humility. It is a lesson in power. Those who listen more begin to understand more. And understanding leads to better action. When you observe more, you begin to see patterns. You see how people repeat the same mistakes. You see how fear moves people to anger, how pride blinds them. You begin to see the roots of emotions, not just in others, but in yourself. You catch yourself before you react. You notice the anger rising in you, and instead of letting it take over, you watch it. You let it pass like a cloud across your mind. That is the true art of observation. It is not only looking outward, it is also looking inward. The Stoics trained themselves daily to watch their own minds. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal, "If you are troubled by external things, it is not they that disturb you, but your judgment of them, and this you can erase immediately." He observed his thoughts like a man watches the sky, seeing them rise and fall without being pulled into their storm. This way of living is not about being cold or emotionless. It is about being clear, being honest, being awake. When you observe your surroundings and your own reactions without judgment, you begin to see the world as it is, not as fear or anger paints it to be. That kind of vision is rare. That kind of mind is hard to break. Imagine being in a room where everyone is arguing, panicking, reacting. And you're calm, not because you don't care, but because you see. You understand. You don't need to raise your voice to feel strong. Your strength is in your awareness. You see the game without becoming part of it. You see people chasing shadows, approval, attention, praise, and you stand still. You choose peace over drama. You choose truth over noise. That is power. And slowly, people start to notice. They start to feel your presence, even when you don't speak. Your silence says more than their shouting ever could. They sense your strength, and they begin to trust your words, because they come rarely, but with weight. Seneca once wrote, "As is a tale, so is life. Not how long it is, but how good it is what matters." In the same way, what you say doesn't need to be loud or long. It only needs to be right, measured, true. That is what Stoic speech is, a reflection of a deep, observed life. So take a step back. Watch more. Speak less. Let the world reveal itself to you before you offer your response. Because once you see clearly, you no longer feel the need to react to everything. You choose what deserves your energy and what deserves your silence. That is not weakness. That is wisdom. That is where real strength lives. The next time you feel the need to speak quickly, to defend yourself, to correct someone, or to fill the silence, stop. Breathe. Observe. Let the moment speak first. You'll be surprised at how much power you hold when you don't give your words away so easily. The person who observes is the person who leads, not always in the spotlight, but always in control. Quiet, steady, aware. This is the way of those who have mastered themselves. And this mastery does not come from books alone. It comes from choosing silence again and again, from letting others talk while you listen, from resisting the pull to react, from watching everything and responding only when needed. In this way, you do not waste life. You do not burn energy on things that don't matter. You protect your peace. You guard your mind. And in doing so, you begin to see the world as it truly is, a place not to dominate, but to understand. So walk quietly, speak with intention, and observe like your life depends on it. Because in many ways, it does. There is a quiet power in the man or woman who masters themselves. The world around us is filled with distractions, emotions, and sudden storms of anger or fear. Yet, those who speak less have learned a rare art, the art of self-control. They do not let their feelings control their actions. They stand firm, like a mighty oak that does not bend with every gust of wind. Self-control is not a weakness. It is the strongest armor a person can wear. It is the wall that protects us from the chaos that lives within and outside of us. The great Stoics taught us this truth long ago. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." To be truly free means to be free from the chains of uncontrolled anger, desire, and fear. When we speak less, it is often because we have learned to first understand our own thoughts and feelings. We do not rush to respond. We pause. We breathe. We remember that our reactions shape our lives far more than the events themselves. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Think about a moment when anger boiled inside you. Maybe someone said something unfair. The impulse to shout back, to defend yourself loudly, felt overwhelming. But what happens when you choose silence instead? What happens when you refuse to be the slave to your anger? In that moment, you gain power. You break free from the cycle of reaction and regret. Those who speak less and master self-control do not live without feelings. They feel deeply, but they do not become prisoners to those feelings. They understand that emotions are like waves, they rise and fall, but we can learn to surf them instead of drowning. Seneca reminds us, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Often, our emotional storms exist mostly in our minds. If we learn to calm the mind, the storm fades. Self-control requires discipline. It demands that we build habits of patience and reflection. It asks us to be honest with ourselves and face our weaknesses without shame or denial. When frustration strikes, instead of exploding in words, the quiet person looks inward. They ask, why am I upset? Can I control this feeling? What is truly within my power here? This path is not easy. The world pushes us to react fast, to show strength through noise and power. But the true strength comes from the calm, steady heart that controls itself. This strength builds character. It protects us from being tossed by every challenge and insult. It gives us the ability to act with wisdom and courage, not weakness or fear. Self-control is like a muscle. The more we practice it, the stronger it becomes. At first, it might feel uncomfortable. Holding back harsh words, resisting impulse, choosing silence over anger, it all takes effort. But gradually, it becomes natural. The person who once spoke without thought now speaks with purpose and power. Their words carry weight because they come from a place of calm. We live in a world obsessed with instant reactions, with loud voices and quick judgments. But the wise know that true victory lies in mastering themselves. When others lose control, the one who is steady becomes a beacon. They do not need to shout to be heard. Their calm presence commands respect. To speak less and control oneself is to walk the path of freedom. It is the choice to no longer be ruled by passions that destroy. It is the decision to build an inner fortress that no external event can break. This is not surrender. It is victory, victory over the self, which is the greatest battle any of us will face. The Stoics remind us that every day is an opportunity to practice self-control. Each moment presents a choice. Will we let anger drive us, or will we choose patience? Will we respond impulsively, or will we pause and act with reason? These small moments shape our lives. Imagine living without the weight of regret from words said in anger. Imagine the peace of mind that comes when you know you are the master of your emotions. This is the promise of self-control. When we learn to control ourselves, we are no longer tossed by the opinions of others. We no longer need to prove ourselves with loud words or endless explanations. Our silence speaks louder than any argument. It shows confidence, wisdom, and strength. But self-control also means knowing when to speak. It means that when words are necessary, they are chosen carefully. They are honest, kind, and purposeful. The quiet person understands that silence is not emptiness. It is fullness, fullness of thought, of patience, of understanding. So we must ask ourselves, how often do we let our emotions rule our speech? How often do we regret what we say in moments of weakness? What if we trained ourselves to respond only when our words build, heal, or protect? This discipline is the gateway to fortitude, the courage to endure hardships without losing ourselves. The courage to remain calm when everything around us falls apart. The courage to stand alone in silence, knowing that strength is not always loud. Remember the words of Epictetus, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Self-control shaped our reactions. It shaped our lives. In practicing self-control, we are not denying our humanity. We are embracing our highest potential. We are becoming the people who speak less but live more deeply. This path will not be easy. It requires daily effort, honesty, and courage. But every step taken in self-control brings us closer to true freedom, freedom from the tyranny of destructive emotions, freedom from chaos, freedom to live as we were meant to live, calm, strong, and unbreakable. Hold on to this truth. Let it guide your silence. For in silence, there is power, and in power, there is peace. There is a quiet power that comes from enduring the storms of life without breaking. The world will not always be kind. Chaos surrounds us in many forms, unexpected losses, harsh words, failures, and disappointment. But those who speak less, who carry themselves with quiet strength, have learned something vital. They are not ruled by the chaos outside. Instead, they remain firm within. Imagine a tree standing tall in a violent storm. The wind rages and the rain pours, but the tree does not shout or fight back. It bends if it must, but it does not break. Its roots are deep, unseen beneath the surface, holding it steady no matter what. This is what resilience looks like in a human being. It is a silent strength that no loud voice can replace. Resilience is not about avoiding hardship. It is about facing hardship and growing stronger because of it. The truly wise know that suffering and difficulties are not punishments, but lessons. They are tests to show how much we can hold inside without losing ourselves. When we meet these challenges with calm and control, we train our minds to be like that tree, unshaken. Those who speak less have learned the art of patience. They do not rush to react or lash out when things go wrong. Instead, they pause. They breathe. They remind themselves that the storm will pass, and their inner peace does not have to go with it. This patience is born from understanding. They know that many troubles are temporary, and some things are simply beyond their control. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest philosophers, wrote that you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This simple truth is the foundation of resilience. When we accept what we cannot change and focus on what we can, we stop wasting energy on useless anger or fear. Instead, we use that energy to build ourselves up, to become stronger inside. To be resilient is to understand the difference between what is within our control and what is not. It is to know that other people's words, the events that happen to us, even our own emotions, these things are outside our control. What we do control is how we respond. When we choose to respond with calm and reason, we take back our power. There will be moments when the chaos feels overwhelming. Moments when it seems easier to shout, to blame, or to give up. But those who have learned to speak less have also learned to listen to their own thoughts, to the voice of reason within. They have trained themselves to see beyond the moment, beyond the pain, and find a deeper strength. Epictetus, another great Stoic, taught that it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This means that resilience is not just about enduring, but about choosing how to meet life's challenges. When we respond with courage and calm, even the hardest trials become opportunities for growth. Resilience is quiet, but it is fierce. It does not seek attention or praise. It does not brag about its victories. It simply stands firm, day after day, through every trial. It is the strength to smile when everything inside wants to scream. It is the power to keep moving forward when the path is dark and uncertain. Those who speak less understand that words are often wasted in moments of crisis. They know that silence can be more powerful than speech. When we remain silent in the face of anger, we do not feed the fire. When we stay calm in the storm, we become the calm center that others can rely on. This resilience is built not by chance, but by practice. Each time we face a difficult situation and choose calm over chaos, we add another layer to our inner fortress. Each moment of self-control is a brick in the wall that keeps us steady. Over time, this wall becomes so strong that no storm can shake it. Think of Seneca, who endured exile and hardship with dignity and strength. He wrote letters filled with wisdom on how to live a life free from fear and turmoil. His resilience was not loud or boastful. It was the quiet confidence of a man who had mastered himself and knew that no external event could take away his peace. When we build this resilience, we also protect ourselves from destructive emotions. Anger, jealousy, and anxiety lose their power over us because we refuse to give them space. We understand that these feelings are like wild animals, dangerous if uncontrolled, but manageable when tamed with patience and reason. To speak less in the face of chaos is not to be weak. It is to be wise. It is to know that true power comes from within, not from the noise we make outside. When we hold our tongue, we hold our peace. When we choose silence, we choose strength. The road to resilience is not easy. It requires daily effort and honest reflection. But the rewards are great. With resilience, we find freedom. Freedom from the endless storms of life, freedom from the chains of destructive emotions, freedom to live with calm and purpose. Let us remember that life will always bring challenges, but we do not have to be broken by them. Like the tree in the storm, we can stand tall and steady. We can be the quiet ones who speak less, but live with a power that others can only dream of. This resilience, this quiet strength, is waiting inside each of us. It asks only that we choose it, that we train ourselves to pause before speaking, to breathe before reacting, to see beyond the chaos and hold firm. In doing this, we do not just survive. We thrive. We become the masters of our fate, the captains of our soul, unshaken by the storms that rage around us. There is a quiet strength in being present without needing to perform. The world around us is loud, impatient, and always demanding something from us: attention, approval, applause. But the truly wise among us have learned to stand still in the storm, rooted like a tree that does not bend to every gust of wind. To be present without performance means to live fully in the moment, without the need to prove ourselves or to gain recognition. It means we do not seek validation in the noise or applause of others. Instead, we find validation within ourselves, through reason, virtue, and calm reflection. How often do we find ourselves caught in the trap of performing for others, trying to impress with words, deeds, or appearances? Yet, these performances are fragile. They depend on the opinions and approval of others, which are beyond our control. If the crowd turns away, the performer is left empty, unsure of who he really is. The wise man knows that true presence is not a performance. It is a deep, unshakable state of being. It requires no audience. It asks for no praise. It rests in the quiet knowledge that what matters is how we live inside, not how others see us. This presence comes from a mind that is calm and focused, a mind that is free from the constant chatter of insecurity, jealousy, and fear. It is a mind that watches without judgment, that listens without interruption, and that acts with deliberate intention. When we practice presence without performance, we learn to listen more than we speak. We watch more than we react. We understand that silence is not weakness, but power. The silence holds space for thought, for reason, and for wise action. The great Stoics taught that our power lies in what is within us, our thoughts, choices, and responses. We cannot control the outside world or the opinions of others, but we can control ourselves. We can control how we show up in the world. Being present without performance means we are not swayed by praise or criticism. We do not inflate ourselves with flattery, nor do we shrink from blame. We keep our minds steady like a rock in the sea, unmoved by waves of emotion or external judgment. This calm presence is not born overnight. It grows with practice and discipline. Every moment we resist the urge to perform, to seek attention, or to react with emotion, we build the strength of our inner fortress. Think of it like a calm lake. When the wind blows, the surface may ripple, but the depths remain still. Those depths represent our true self, calm, steady, and unchanging. The ripples are the performances and distractions of life. The wise learn to look beyond the surface to the deep waters beneath. When we live this way, we find peace. We find freedom. We no longer carry the heavy burden of needing to be seen or accepted. Instead, we carry the lightness of self-trust and inner clarity. This presence without performance also frees us from fear. Fear often comes from worrying about what others think, or what might happen if we fail to impress. But when we are fully present in ourselves, fear loses its grip. We act not to please others, but because it is right and just. Our actions become deliberate and meaningful. We choose them carefully, without haste or distraction. Each step we take is grounded in reason and virtue, not in the need for applause. The path of presence without performance invites us to embrace humility, not the kind that shrinks from the world, but the kind that sees our true place in it. We recognize that we are part of something greater, nature, the universe, fate. We are not the center of attention, but a quiet part of a much larger whole. From this place, we act with courage. Courage to stand alone if we must. Courage to face discomfort without complaint. Courage to keep our silence when words would serve only to inflame or confuse. In silence, we find wisdom. In stillness, we find strength. In presence without performance, we find the freedom to be ourselves, no matter what the world demands. This is the gift of those who speak less but live more. They move through life not as performers on a stage, but as steady beings rooted in reason. They do not chase fame, fortune, or fleeting praise. They seek only to live well, according to nature, according to reason, and according to virtue. The noise of the world will never cease. But those who cultivate presence without performance will never be lost in it. They carry within themselves a silent power, a calm force that no external event can shake. To live this way is not easy. It demands constant vigilance over our thoughts and actions. It asks us to recognize when we are performing and to choose instead to be still. It challenges us to embrace discomfort and uncertainty without losing ourselves. But the rewards are great. Freedom from anxiety, freedom from false pride, freedom from the endless need for approval. In this freedom, we find peace. In this peace, we find true strength. So let us walk this path together. Let us learn to be present without performance. Let us find the quiet power that lies within, waiting patiently for us to claim it. The world will shout. It will demand. It will try to pull us into its chaos. But we, those who speak less, will remain calm, steady, and unshaken. Because our strength is not in what we say or how we appear, but in the presence we carry within. This is the way of the wise. This is the path of the unbreakable soul. We live in a world that pulls us in every direction. Noise surrounds us inside and out. Every moment, events happen that push us to respond. Sometimes, it is easy to react. Our emotions rise like waves, crashing over reason and will. But what if we chose not to react? What if we learned instead to live with intention? This is the quiet power that the wise have always sought. When we speak less, it is not because we have nothing to say. It is because we have something far greater, a purpose, a calm control over ourselves. To live with intention means to act from reason, not impulse. It means to decide before you speak or move. This is the difference between a mind that is free and one that is trapped in the endless cycle of reactions. A reaction is a sudden burst. It is often loud, emotional, and not well thought out. It is the way of those who let the outside world control their inside world. But intention is different. Intention is slow. It is careful. It is born from a deep understanding of what matters and what does not. The intentional person is not moved by every wind or wave. They stand firm, like a tree rooted in the earth. The ancient Stoics taught us this. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor who faced wars and death, wrote about the importance of mastering ourselves. He said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." These words remind us that life will always bring challenges, but how we meet those challenges is up to us. Living with intention is a daily practice. It means waking up each morning with a plan for your mind and spirit. It means choosing your thoughts carefully. It means understanding that some things are beyond your control, and it is useless to waste energy on them. Instead, focus on what you can control, your judgments, your desires, your actions. How often do we find ourselves angry at things we cannot change? How often do we waste time worrying about what others think or do? These are moments when we lose ourselves in reaction. But when we live intentionally, we step back from these moments. We ask ourselves, is this thought true? Is this feeling helpful? What can I do right now that is good and wise? The power of intention is that it frees us from the chains of emotional slavery. We are no longer puppets pulled by every hurt, insult, or fear. Instead, we become masters of our own fate. The voice inside us grows stronger than the noise outside. We act with purpose, even when the world is chaotic. This does not mean we become cold or uncaring. The Stoics never taught us to be emotionless. They taught us to feel rightly, to feel with reason and balance. To care deeply, but without losing ourselves. To love, but not be enslaved by love. To face loss, pain, and grief with courage. Imagine a storm at sea. The waves rage, the wind howls. The ship's captain cannot stop the storm. But the captain can steady the wheel. The captain can choose the course. This is the captain of our mind. We may not control the storm of life, but we control how we navigate it. Intentional living also means accepting the present moment as it is. The past is gone. The future is uncertain. But now, this moment is ours. What will we do with it? Will we waste it on anger and regret? Or will we use it to build strength and wisdom? The choice is ours every second. To live intentionally is to live fully. When we are no longer distracted by needless reactions, we see clearly what is important. We find joy in small things, in quiet moments, in meaningful work. We understand that true happiness is not found in chasing pleasures or avoiding pain, but in living rightly, with courage and reason. The world will always be noisy. People will always shout to be heard. But the one who lives with intention speaks less, because their actions speak louder. Their life becomes a message of strength, calm, and wisdom. This is the life the Stoics urge us to pursue. So when you feel the urge to lash out, pause. When your mind rushes to anger or fear, step back. Breathe deeply. Remind yourself that you are the master of your reactions. Choose intention over impulse. Speak when your words are necessary and true. Act when your actions serve your highest good. In this way, we build a life that no one can shake. We create a peace that no outside event can disturb. We find a strength that grows not from control over others, but from control over ourselves. This is the true power that comes from living with intention, not reaction. And remember, this path is not easy. It requires patience, discipline, and practice. But every step forward is a victory over the chaos within and without. Every moment of choice builds the fortress of your mind. Every time you choose intention, you become more free. Let us walk this path together. Let us seek to understand before we speak. Let us act with purpose, not passion. Let us live in calm strength, so that when the world shakes, we remain steady. For in this steadiness lies the true freedom of the soul. There is a quiet power in choosing how to live each moment. It is the difference between being tossed by the waves and standing firm as the storm rages. We often move through life reacting to everything that happens, quick to anger, quick to fear, quick to joy. But what if we chose not to be controlled by these immediate feelings? What if we learned instead to live with intention? To respond only when our reason, not our impulses, commands us? This is the way of those who speak less and live stronger. They do not allow the chaos around them to pull their strings like a puppet. Instead, they take a step back, breathe, and choose their next move carefully. The true strength of the human spirit lies not in the power to control the world, but in the power to control oneself. When we speak of living with intention, it means being fully aware of what we want, why we want it, and how best to achieve it. It is a commitment to act with purpose, rather than reacting blindly to external events. Imagine a tree standing in the wind. It bends when the breeze is gentle, but it does not break during the fiercest gale. It moves with intention, rooted in the earth, aware of its strength. This rootedness, this inner foundation, is what allows a person to live intentionally. Without it, we become like leaves tossed by every passing gust. We let our emotions dictate our words and actions, and before long, we lose ourselves. The ancient teachers taught that our emotions are often the result of mistaken judgments. When we believe something bad has happened to us, we suffer. But if we see clearly that what happens outside is neither good nor bad in itself, but only what we make of it, our suffering begins to fade. Consider this: if a harsh word is spoken to you, you have two choices. You can react with anger, hurt, or revenge, or you can choose to remain calm, to understand that the word is only powerful if you let it be. The person who speaks less has learned this lesson deeply. They do not give their power away to the opinions of others. Instead, they hold fast to their own reason and values. Living with intention is also about knowing what you can control and what you cannot. The Stoics reminded us again and again: focus on what is in your power. Your thoughts, your decisions, your actions, these are yours to command. The world outside, other people, events, time itself, these are not. When we try to control what is outside us, we waste energy and lose peace. When we accept this truth, we free ourselves. There is no shame in silence when the noise offers no purpose. Speaking less is a sign that we are weighing every word, every action. We choose not to be distracted by trivial matters or shallow debates. Instead, we focus on what truly matters: our character, our virtue, our growth. This is a hard path, because the world values noise, speed, and immediate reaction. But the quiet path leads to wisdom. Many who speak less are misunderstood. They are seen as distant or cold. But inside, they burn with a quiet fire, a fire of purpose and clarity. They know that life is short, and that every moment wasted on meaningless words is a moment lost forever. They cherish their time and energy as sacred, and they give both only to what aligns with their deepest values. To live with intention is also to embrace discomfort. It means we sometimes must say no to what feels good but harms us. It means resisting the urge to lash out when we feel wronged, and instead meeting conflict with calm reason. This is the true battle, not against others, but against our own impulses. When we are guided by intention, we become architects of our own lives. We build each day with care, brick by brick. Every choice becomes a deliberate step towards becoming who we wish to be. This is freedom not from external chains, but freedom from the inner chaos that so often enslaves us. The great Stoic Emperor Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. How often do we forget this simple truth? We lose ourselves chasing approval, reacting to insults, fearing what might come. But the quiet person, the one who speaks less, remembers this. They do not waste their strength on what they cannot change. Instead, they nurture their inner garden. They cultivate patience, kindness, courage, and wisdom. These are the fruits of living with intention. When storms come, as they always do, they stand tall. They are not swept away by fear or anger. They are anchored in their purpose. This is not a path for the weak. It demands courage, the courage to face ourselves honestly, to confront our flaws, and to choose reason over impulse every single day. It demands sacrifice, giving up the quick satisfaction of emotional reactions for the deeper, lasting peace of self-mastery. But the reward is great. Those who live with intention find a freedom that no external circumstance can take away. They find a calm that fills their soul even in the darkest hours. They become a quiet force that shapes their world not through noise or force, but through steady, deliberate action. Let us walk this path together. Let us learn to listen more and speak less. Let us choose our words with care and live each moment with purpose. For in doing so, we not only control ourselves, but we shape a life worthy of the greatest respect, a life of meaning, strength, and true freedom. We have traveled far in our understanding of those who speak less, yet live more powerfully. Now, as we come to this final moment together, let us look deeply at what it truly means to find your voice in silence. There is a quiet power that does not need words to prove itself. It is the power that comes from knowing yourself fully, your strengths, your weaknesses, your fears, and your hopes. It is the power that arises when you no longer depend on the approval or attention of others to feel whole. This power is not loud or flashy. It is steady, calm, and unshakable. To speak less is not to be silent out of fear or weakness. It is to speak with wisdom after much thought and reflection. It is to hold your tongue when your emotions are raging inside. It is to resist the urge to react quickly to every insult, every criticism, every challenge. The ancient teachers remind us that the true battle is not with others, but within ourselves. Our greatest enemy is not the outside world, but the destructive emotions that rise in us. Anger that burns too hot, jealousy that poisons, impatience that clouds judgment. When we speak less, we create space inside. This space allows us to see clearly, to respond with reason instead of passion. Imagine your mind as a still lake. When the wind is strong, the surface becomes rough and chaotic. But if you can calm the wind inside, the lake becomes clear, reflecting truth perfectly. Speaking less helps calm that inner storm. It is the beginning of mastering your thoughts and emotions. Consider Marcus Aurelius, the emperor who ruled an empire yet lived a life of quiet self-discipline. He wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. In this you have the power to revoke it any moment." He understood that words and noise from the outside cannot harm us unless we let them. By speaking less, we hold the power to control our own minds. We must learn to listen, truly listen, not only to others, but to the voice within us. In silence, the deepest truths reveal themselves. The voice that emerges from silence is not the loud shout of ego, but the calm whisper of wisdom. It tells us what is worth our energy and what is not. It guides us toward what we can control and lets go of what we cannot. When we live this way, we free ourselves from the chains of reaction and impulsiveness. We do not allow anger to rule us, nor fear to paralyze us. Instead, we stand firm like a rock in a storm. People who speak less have learned this lesson. Their silence is their shield and their sword. It protects them from wasting strength on useless battles and gives them the clarity to fight only the battles worth fighting. This strength of silence is a gift we give ourselves. It is a daily practice, a way of living that calls us to be patient and persistent. It asks us to be honest about our emotions and to refuse to be controlled by them. It demands that we build an inner fortress of peace and self-mastery. As we grow in this way, we begin to understand what really matters. We see that many of the things people fight and argue over are trivial. We stop chasing approval or recognition. Our focus sharpens on living rightly, on being good and just, on acting with kindness and courage. Stoic teachers remind us that life is short and unpredictable. Every moment is a chance to practice this art of silence and control. We cannot change the world outside, but we can change how we respond to it. That is the true freedom. There is no need to prove ourselves to others with words or noise. Our actions and our calm presence speak louder than any shout. We become a quiet force that moves steadily forward, undeterred by the chaos around us. To those who choose this path, life offers something precious: peace. Not the peace of escape, but the peace of knowing you are the master of yourself. That no matter what happens, your mind remains unbroken, your spirit strong. So, as we end this journey, remember that the voice you seek is not found in speaking more. It is found in speaking less, in controlling your emotions, in observing before reacting, and in living with intention. This is the way of true strength. Embrace the silence. Let it teach you. Let it guide you. Through silence, you will find your real voice, one that cannot be taken from you, one that carries the power of reason, courage, and wisdom. Stand firm. Speak less. Live stronger.